At dawn, a thick, yellowish gas cloud rolls ominously across no man's land. The piercing shriek of a gas alarm tears through the quiet morning, announcing impending doom. Soldiers, their faces contorted in sheer panic, scramble desperately to pull on crude gas masks. Young British Private Thomas fumbles frantically with his mask, his breath ragged with fear. The air thickens with the horrifying sound of desperate coughing and muffled shouts, a symphony of terror. This immediate plunge into chaos establishes the constant, brutal threat of the Western Front. In the muddy British trench, Thomas, his face hidden by a gas mask, cautiously peers over the parapet into the desolate landscape. The trench, a churned-up ditch, is fortified with splintered wood and sandbags, a testament to relentless warfare. Other soldiers huddle in tight groups, their eyes wide with raw fear, their faces etched with the horror of survival. The air hangs heavy with the acrid smell of chlorine and damp earth, a suffocating reminder of the recent attack. A terrifying silence descends, more chilling than any assault, as the men brace for what comes next. The sun beats down on a barren landscape, a cruel reminder of the war's relentless grip. Exhausted soldiers, caked in mud, dig furiously with shovels, their movements heavy and deliberate. Sergeant Miller, a burly figure, strains with each shovel full, his face grim with effort. The unforgiving ground yields slowly, each scoop of earth a testament to their grueling labor. Muscles ache and sweat stings their eyes as they carve out the initial, life-saving trench line. The relentless physical toil reveals the immense human cost of these vital fortifications. In the cramped, damp dugout, Thomas, James, and Arthur huddle together, their faces etched with the strains of war. A single candle flickers, casting long, dancing shadows across the rough earth walls, a fragile beacon against the oppressive darkness. James coughs incessantly, a deep, rattling sound echoing, while Arthur's trembling hands struggle to write a letter home. The claustrophobia and chilling dampness are palpable, a constant, unseen enemy pressing in on the men. A crude latrine pit, a festering wound in the trench, swarms with an incessant, buzzing cloud of flies. The air hangs heavy with an unimaginable stench, a suffocating presence that permeates every breath. A gaunt soldier, his uniform a canvas of mud and grime, approaches the squalid facility with grim resignation. His face, etched with discomfort and revulsion, is a testament to the horror of his surroundings. He moves with a desperate haste, his every action screaming of the unbearable conditions. This putrid pit, a breeding ground for disease, mirrors the grim reality of life and death in the trenches. At a trench cooking station, a small, struggling fire barely heats a dented pot, its smoke mingling with the grim air. A cook, his face smudged with soot, stirs a meager ration of bully beef stew, a picture of weary resignation. Soldiers queue patiently, their faces hollow with hunger, their eyes reflecting the harsh realities of war. The unappetizing aroma of the stew hangs heavy, doing little to lift the spirits of the waiting men. Each soldier's gaunt expression tells a silent story of endurance, a testament to their profound hunger. The trench medical aid post is a suffocating haze of metallic blood and acrid antiseptic, a grim sanctuary of pain. A medic, sleeves rolled to reveal sinewy forearms, leans over a soldier, whose leg is a grotesque ruin of flesh and bone. The air vibrates with the low, constant thrum of agony, as groans and whimpers rise from the injured men packed into the small dugout. His face etched with grim determination, the medic works with a focused intensity, his hands stained with the grim reality of war. Each breath in this makeshift infirmary is a testament to suffering, a silent scream echoing in the suffocating air. Under a cold, starless sky, Thomas and Sergeant Miller advance through treacherous no man's land. They navigate cautiously, their boots crunching on debris, avoiding barbed wire and deep shell craters. The distant crackle of gunfire echoes, a constant reminder of the ever-present danger. An occasional flare pierces the darkness, momentarily illuminating the desolate landscape with an eerie glow. Long, distorted shadows dance across the frigid air, painting a haunting tableau of palpable danger. In the murky trench, a rat scurries across Thomas's muddy boot, a common sight he barely acknowledges. His gaze is fixed on the desolate landscape beyond the sandbags, a stark, unchanging vista of despair. The trench floor, a foul-smelling mire of mud and refuse, reflects the grim reality of their existence. Rats and lice are constant companions, their presence a daily torment in this brutal, unending war. From a camouflaged trench, Sergeant Miller's grim face, etched with years of war, scans enemy lines. Through his binoculars, he meticulously surveys the distant horizon, a silent sentinel of the battlefield. His hardened gaze catches a subtle movement, a fleeting shadow against the desolate landscape. He turns, a weathered hand pointing towards the distant threat, imparting grim wisdom to young Thomas. Thomas, eyes wide, with a mixture of fear and determination, absorbs the harsh lessons of trench warfare. In the cramped dugout, a single candle flickers, casting long, dancing shadows that hint at unseen horrors beyond. Arthur, gaunt and weary, holds a tattered letter, his eyes tracing the faded ink, a lifeline to a world far away. His voice, a soft murmur, fills the oppressive silence, and little Mary asks for her papa every night. "We miss you terribly, my love." James and Thomas sit opposite him, their faces etched with a profound mix of nostalgia and sadness. Their gazes are lost in memories. These fragile letters, their sole tether to the world beyond the mud and carnage. The ground trembles violently as a relentless artillery barrage begins, shaking the very earth beneath the soldiers. Soldiers instinctively duck for cover, pressing themselves against the muddy trench walls, seeking refuge from the onslaught. A terrifying symphony of destruction erupts as deafening explosions and flying debris fill the air. Thomas clutches his rifle, his knuckles stark white against the dark metal, his face a mask of grim resolve. Dust motes dance in the air, slowly settling over the devastated trench, as the acrid smell of explosives hangs heavy. From the debris, the guttural cries of injured men begin to rise, a chorus of agonizing pain echoing through the ruins. Thomas and James, covered in dust but miraculously unharmed, emerge from a dugout, their eyes wide with shock and disbelief. They frantically claw at the collapsed trench sections, their hands desperate to pull comrades from the suffocating rubble. In the desolate trench, frigid air bites, turning soldiers' faces a pale, ghostly blue. Their breath mists into the icy air, a stark visual of the relentless cold that grips them. Thomas desperately rubs his hands together, a futile attempt to conjure warmth from the biting chill. Weariness etches deep lines on their faces, betraying the constant struggle against the elements. The damp, persistent chill of the trench seeps into their very bones, a silent torment. An unspoken threat of disease hangs heavy, a grim shadow in the soldiers' weary eyes. The biting cold of the night seeps into the trench, a brutal embrace. James shivers violently under a threadbare blanket, his body racked by a persistent cough. His face is flushed with fever, a stark contrast to the grim surroundings. Thomas's face is etched with worry as he attempts to offer what little comfort he can. Their options are limited, a desperate truth hanging heavy in the air. The oppressive atmosphere highlights the grim reality. Disease is as relentless an adversary as the enemy. A soldier stares blankly at the mud-caked trench wall, his lips moving in silent, incoherent words. The constant, distant rumble of artillery fire echoes his fractured state, a relentless sound of despair. Sergeant Miller approaches, his movements slow and deliberate, his face a mask of weary compassion. He extends a hand, a gesture of grim acceptance, attempting to lead the soldier from the psychological abyss. A desolate, gray sky looms over a bleak landscape, stretching endlessly under the oppressive light of day. Barbed wire, rusted and sharp, slices through the barren ground, a cruel monument to forgotten battles. Entangled within the wire, the tattered uniform of a dead soldier is a stark, gruesome silhouette. His face, obscured by decay, bears the silent testament of scavengers and the relentless passage of time. This horrifying tableau serves as a chilling, visceral reminder of the immense human cost of endless conflict. Yet, in this unforgiving land, even such a sight fails to stir emotion, for the men have become desensitized. In the dim, claustrophobic dugout, Thomas hunches over, a figure of intense concentration. His hands move with practiced precision, a silent ritual unfolding in the meager light. He meticulously cleans his rifle, each wipe and brushstroke an automatic, ingrained motion. The rifle gleams faintly, a stark beacon in the oppressive darkness of the dugout. It is a silent testament to constant maintenance, a lifeline in his chaotic world. His world is chaos, but here, with his rifle, there is a fragile, desperate order. Rain transforms the trench into a churning river of mud, reflecting the gray, oppressive sky. Soldiers trudge through the viscous mire, each step a monumental struggle as boots sink deep. The abysmal conditions make every movement an arduous battle against the relentless, clinging mud. Thick, pervasive mud clings to their uniforms and gear, a grim testament to their misery. Flickering candlelight dances, casting monstrous shadows across the grimy, claustrophobic walls of the dugout. Arthur, hunched and focused, meticulously sketches on a scrap of paper, his brow furrowed in concentration. James and Thomas, their faces etched with dirt and exhaustion, lean in, their eyes fixed on Arthur's drawing. A rare, weary smile slowly spreads across their lips as Arthur reveals his comical caricature of Sergeant Miller. In the oppressive bleakness, this shared moment of humor ignites a fragile spark of camaraderie and hope. Their laughter, though soft, resonates like a defiant anthem against the grim reality, sustaining their spirits. Against the stark, sun-drenched horizon, a supply party emerges, their forms dark and imposing. They struggle under the weight of heavy crates, brimming with precious water and tinned rations. Gaunt and weary, the soldiers gather around the new arrivals, a desperate hope flickering in their eyes. A ripple of anticipation washes over the grim landscape, momentarily lifting the spirits of the downtrodden. The sight of the supplies, a beacon of relief, momentarily breaks the monotonous deprivation. In this bleak world, even a small victory like fresh supplies brings a fleeting sense of triumph. In the suffocating darkness of the trench, Thomas hunches, his face stark in the candle's flickering glow. The stolen candle casts grotesque, dancing shadows across his gaunt, weary features. His hand, steady and precise, fills the small, leather-bound diary with tight, meticulous script. Each word etched on the page recounts the day's grim horrors, a silent testament to his suffering. The diary, a loyal confidant, absorbs his deepest, most private thoughts, a crucial release. In this desolate trench, the diary is his only solace, a lifeline in the face of unbearable despair. Under the relentless sun, a group of soldiers huddle together, their faces grim, etched with the harsh realities of war. They gather around a flattened tin, transforming it into a makeshift card table, a small island of normalcy. Their eyes, though weary, are intensely focused on the cards, a fleeting escape from the surrounding chaos. The simple act of playing cards offers a fragile moment of peace, a defiant whisper against the roar of conflict. Amidst the desolation, a shared game binds them, a poignant testament to the human spirit's resilience. A young, fresh recruit, his uniform pristine, arrives at the trench, his face alight with nervous anticipation. Sergeant Miller, weathered and stern, surveys the new arrival with a hardened gaze. Miller delivers a swift, severe briefing on trench etiquette, his words a stark jolt to the recruit's naivety. The recruit's eager expression slowly falters, replaced by a dawning understanding of the grim reality. In the dugout's dim light, the lantern casts long, dancing shadows, painting the soldiers' faces with an eerie glow. James sits, his eyes distant, lost in a whispered tale of a life before the war, his voice a soft, wistful melody. The other soldiers listen, their expressions a canvas of nostalgia and melancholy, each adrift in their own forgotten world. A fragile comfort settles over them, a shared moment of poignant sadness in the heart of the war's relentless despair. Dawn bleeds across the desolate trench, painting the weary faces of soldiers with a grim light. Rifles are raised in unison, cold steel glinting as they prepare for the day's grim vigil. Eyes, hollow and sharp, peer over the parapet, scanning the scarred, unforgiving expanse of no man's land. The air crackles with a cold, tense silence, a heavy cloak of vigilance settling over the trench. In the dim dugout, Thomas clutches a faded photograph, his gaze lost in the faces of his family. His thumb gently traces the familiar features, a silent gesture of profound longing. The worn edges of the photo speak of countless touches, each a yearning for home. A heavy silence fills the space, amplifying the emotional toll of his separation. His eyes, though fixed on the image, reveal a deep, aching burden of loneliness. The yearning for his family is a palpable ache, a constant weight in the quiet night. Under a stark sky, a burial detail moves with grim purpose, their faces etched with the profound weariness of war. They carry a body, simply wrapped in a blanket, a silent testament to a life extinguished. Towards a shallow grave behind the lines they proceed, each step a heavy, measured rhythm of sorrow. No ceremony, no eulogy, only the brutal, repetitive act of burying the fallen, a stark ritual of loss. The frequent burials serve as a constant, brutal reminder of the attrition that gnaws at their very souls. Each shovelful of earth, a heavy punctuation mark in the relentless, tragic narrative of conflict. Against the bright sky, a German plane roars low, a menacing silhouette of destruction. Below, soldiers scatter like dust, their faces etched with the stark terror of impending doom. Rifles crackle, spitting desperate fire into the air, a futile defiance against the roaring beast. The rumble of the engine vibrates through the very earth, a constant, chilling reminder of death's proximity. Each soldier's eyes reflect a raw, primal fear, a desperate battle for survival against overwhelming odds. The sky darkens with the shadow of the plane, a harbinger of chaos descending upon the desperate men. In the suffocating darkness of the trench, Arthur's quiet humming begins, a soft, fragile melody. The tune, a popular song from home, is a stark contrast to the grim reality of the night. His voice, a thin thread of humanity, weaves through the oppressive silence, clinging to life. Each note is a small, defiant act of hope, a whisper against the vast, consuming darkness. The simple music offers a momentary, precious escape from the horrors of the trench, a fleeting breath of peace. Sergeant Miller, his uniform caked with mud, strides through the trench, his weary face a map of countless battles. His gaze, sharp and commanding, sweeps over the defensive fortifications, assessing every detail. He stops, eyes narrowing on a section of the wall, his authority evident in his silent scrutiny. His voice cuts through the air. Keep those sandbags high, and I want every rifle cleaned and ready. Our lives depend on it. In the cramped, damp dugout, Thomas, James, and Arthur huddle together, their faces etched with fatigue and grime. The sole ember of a scarce cigarette momentarily illuminates their tired features, a beacon in the gloom. They carefully pass the cigarette, each taking a deep, slow drag, savoring the small, fleeting luxury. The acrid scent of tobacco briefly masks the pervasive stench of mud and despair, a momentary reprieve. Their eyes, though heavy with exhaustion, hold a shared, unspoken appreciation for this brief, fragile respite. A silent understanding passes between them, a shared moment of humanity amidst the desolation. A sudden, sharp sniper shot echoes through the trench, ripping through the tense silence of the day. A soldier collapses next to Thomas, a clean, precise hole bored through his helmet. The abruptness of death is a chilling shock, even to hardened veterans like Thomas, who stand frozen in horror. His eyes, wide and haunted, reflect the brutal reality of the unseen enemy's constant, lurking threat. The trench, once a refuge, now feels like a tomb, its air thick with the stench of fear and impending doom. In the trench, Thomas, visibly shaken, struggles to pull a fallen soldier to safety, the air thick with dread, his face contorted in fear. Thomas strains with every muscle, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The constant threat of instant death hangs heavy, a chilling shroud over the battlefield. A cold, creeping fear gnaws at his resolve, threatening to consume him in the chaos. Daylight reveals soldiers in the trench, their uniforms and boots caked in thick, oppressive mud. Each soldier meticulously scrubs at the grime, a desperate, futile attempt to reclaim order from the chaos. The rhythmic brushstrokes echo the quiet despair, a poignant ballet of self-preservation amidst the devastation. These small, seemingly insignificant acts of self-care are a fragile lifeline, a desperate bid for dignity. In their eyes, a glimmer of defiance, clinging to morale in the face of overwhelming despair. The air in the dugout hangs heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and the palpable dread of fear. A soldier, ravaged by trench fever, shivers violently beneath a threadbare, meager blanket. His teeth chatter a frantic, desperate rhythm, a testament to the pervasive, relentless cold. The medic, his face etched deep with worry and exhaustion, leans over the suffering soldier. His fingers gently press against the soldier's wrist, searching for a pulse, a flicker of hope. The relentless grip of disease chokes the claustrophobic space, an unseen, ever-present enemy. A stark, desolate trench stretches under a gray sky, momentarily silent. Soldiers from opposing sides emerge, their faces etched with wariness, yet a flicker of curiosity. Hands reach across the narrow no-man's land, offering cigarettes in a fragile gesture of peace. Whispers of small talk replace the roar of battle, a fleeting connection forged in shared humanity. Brief smiles, then the moment shatters, leaving only the memory of an unspoken truce. In the inky blackness of the trench, Thomas's eyes, wide with apprehension, scan the desolate horizon. Suddenly, a blinding flare erupts, illuminating the no-man's land with an eerie, ghostly light. Twisted silhouettes of barbed wire and shattered trees dance in the harsh glare, casting monstrous shadows. The desolate, moonlit stage is set, a silent harbinger of impending doom. Every shadow seems to hold a hidden threat, every gust of wind a whisper of death. Thomas remains frozen, a lone figure caught in the stark, unforgiving tableau of war. Under a pale sun, weary soldiers toil in the trench, the air thick with damp soil and distant gunfire. Arthur, his face grim, shovels earth with deliberate, heavy movements, repairing the collapsed trench wall. Each sandbag is placed with a silent, grim determination, a testament to the constant, unseen threat. The precarious defenses are maintained, every action a stark acknowledgement of ever-present danger. The scent of damp earth and the distant echoes of battle hang heavy, a constant reminder of their struggle. In the dugout's oppressive darkness, Sergeant Miller's face is a mask of grim resolve as he sharpens his bayonet. The chilling metallic rasp of steel on stone slices through the silence, a prelude to brutal combat. Each stroke hones the blade, preparing for the close-quarters horror that looms, a silent promise of violence. The glint of the newly sharpened bayonet reflects the dim light, a stark reminder that the tools of war are always ready. In the grim trench, a soldier carefully lifts a pigeon from a wicker basket, its small form a beacon of fragile hope. Against the stark, overcast sky, the pigeon is released, its wings beating a silent, vital message towards headquarters. The bird ascends, a tiny, defiant speck against the vast, uncertain expanse of the gray heavens. The soldier watches, a silent prayer etched on his face, as the messenger disappears into the oppressive sky. A lone pigeon, carrying the weight of war, vanishes from sight, leaving behind a profound silence and a desperate hope. In the black of night, Thomas lies in a cramped, muddy trench, his eyes wide and unblinking, fear a cold knot in his stomach. The air vibrates with the constant, unsettling rhythm of distant shelling, a thudding heartbeat of war. Each distant thud echoes the terror of the battlefield, an inescapable lullaby of destruction. Faint, desperate cries pierce the suffocating darkness, carrying the raw agony of soldiers from a nearby sector. Sleep is a forgotten luxury, as the harrowing sounds of the night torment Thomas, keeping him in a waking nightmare. A long, grim line of soldiers snakes through the muddy trench, their faces etched with weariness. Fatigue and hunger are visible in their eyes, a blend of impatience and deep-seated resignation. The air hangs heavy with the unspoken truth. Food is a constant, gnawing concern, always insufficient, often unappetizing. The thought of food dominates their grim existence. In the cramped, damp dugout, a single lantern casts flickering shadows, making the walls dance with ghostly forms. James, his face smudged with dirt, speaks softly, his gaze lost in a distant, sweeter memory. Back home, the land's so rich you can practically taste it, he murmurs, his voice a wistful whisper. And the smell of fresh-cut hay. Nothing quite like it, he sighs, longing for a different world. In the desolate trench, soldiers stand, their faces etched with mud and weariness. A melancholic song rises from their throats, harmonizing in the cool, heavy air, a haunting melody. Their voices intertwine, a fragile moment of shared solace in the face of relentless tension. The song offers a brief, precious reprieve, their spirits momentarily lifted from the grim reality. In the grim darkness of the trench at night, Arthur meticulously cleans his mess tin, a defiant act against the squalor. His hands, caked with mud and grime, work with a surprising gentleness, scrubbing away every trace of the unappetizing meal. The metallic scraping echoes softly in the oppressive silence, a stark contrast to the surrounding decay. His brow is furrowed in intense concentration, each movement a small rebellion against the chaos of war. The faint gleam of the cleaned tin reflects the distant, muted light, a beacon of order amidst the desolation. In this small, solitary act, Arthur finds a moment of quiet dignity, a fragile hold on humanity in the face of despair. In the desolate trench, a new order arrives, its shadow falling heavily upon the weary men. Sergeant Miller's voice, a hollow echo, reads the grim words, devoid of all human emotion. Each man listens, their faces etched with a hardening resolve, a silent acceptance of their fate. The unspoken truth hangs in the air. Another push, another wave of inevitable casualties. A somber, shared understanding settles over them, a quiet dread before the coming storm. In the dim dugout, flickering candlelight casts eerie, dancing shadows on Thomas's face as he hunches over a makeshift desk, his brow deeply furrowed. Thomas's pen scratches across worn paper, each stroke a testament to his intense concentration. He carefully folds the letter, the soft crinkle of paper a stark contrast to the heavy, silent air. With a determined, almost solemn gesture, Thomas seals the letter, a final, poignant act before the unknown. The air in the dugout hangs thick with unspoken dread, a suffocating premonition of the battle looming ahead. The horizon bleeds gray as dawn breaks over the desolate no-man's land. Thomas, James, and Arthur, their faces etched with grim resolve, fix bayonets to their rifles. From muddy trenches, countless soldiers emerge, climbing into the brutal dawn. They advance across the desolate expanse, a silent, grim tide of humanity. The air immediately shudders with the relentless whiz and thud of bullets, a hail of machine gun fire. The overwhelming futility and sacrifice paint a stark, brutal reality across the battlefield. Decades later, an aged, stoic Thomas stands before a war memorial, a silent sentinel of memory. His gnarled hand, etched with the passage of time, traces the cold, engraved names on the stone. The gentle birdsong and distant city traffic replace the phantom echoes of long-vanished battles. His weathered face, a landscape of sorrow and resilience, bears witness to countless lives lost. A somber impression lingers, a lasting testament to the enduring, profound impact of war.